What is the peak value? The peak value is nothing but a maximum amplitude attained by any sinusoidal signal or any signal. Okay, so as we can see in this figure, a sinusoidal signal start from 0 to pi to 2 pi. So it gives the maximum value at angle pi by 2. So sine signal varies from 0 to 1. Okay, so maximum amplitude for sine signal is 1. So this amplitude is called peak value. Okay, so next is average value. For average value, we consider a complete cycle for sinusoidal signal. If we take the positive half cycle and negative half cycle and we take the average for this signal, then the resultant for average value of a complete sinusoidal signal become 0. Okay, so that's why we are considering only first half of the signal. Okay, for first half the signal, we divide this signal into equal parts and we find out the average by using sum of all the samples divided by total number of samples. Okay, mathematically how we can calculate the average value, we can see the derivation right now. Here this is our input signal, sinusoidal input signal. It starts from 0 to pi to 2 pi, and as we have discussed that we will consider only first half portion of a signal start from 0 to pi. That's why we are taking the integration from 0 to pi and we take 1 upon pi. Okay, so we start integrating this area first half cycle. So we consider the limit from 0 to pi and we take the maximum amplitude Bp. So this is the maximum amplitude which we can represent as Bp, and we take a signal sine of theta. So this start from 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi is called sine signal. If it start at this location, then it is cos. Okay, so we integrate with respect to d theta. So after integration, so integration of sine theta is minus of cos theta. So we have to put the limit for this cos of theta. So minus cos of pi plus cos of 0. So cos of pi is equal to minus of 1 and cos of 0 is equal to 1. Okay, so while solving this, it becomes 2 Bp upon pi and we achieve average value for alternating current is 0.637 peak to peak voltage Vp. Okay, so next we will discuss the RMS value of the alternating quantity. So how we can represent the RMS value? This is the input signal, sinusoidal signal. It starts from 0 to pi to 2 pi. For RMS value, we have to consider the complete waveform. Okay, so we have to consider this area and this area, complete cycle. So that's why we are integrating with respect to 0 to 2 pi. So it start from 0 position and end up at position 2 pi and it continue. Okay, and we take the maximum current value. So maximum current value is this one. So we consider it as Im. So Im is the current value, then sine of omega t. So sine is, this is called the sine signal and omega t is the angle. So according to the definition of RMS value, the square of instantaneous value, the square of instantaneous value. So what is the instantaneous value? Instantaneous value is the input signal Im sine of omega t. Okay, and we have to integrate this signal from 0 to 2 pi, and we take the integration from 1 upon 2 pi. Okay, so this is our equation. So we have to take the square of instantaneous signal. So how we can take the square of instantaneous signal? So we can place it as 1 upon 2 pi Im square and sine square omega t. Okay, so that's why we have written this equation. So it become, when we take Im as a common, then it become Im square upon 2 pi integration from 0 to 2 pi or sine square omega t. So how to integrate this sine square omega t? So while integrating this sine square omega t, we have to make some formula. So 2 sine square theta is 1 minus cos theta. So we have to multiply by 2 and divide it by 2 to become the complete formula for 2 sine square theta. So that's why we are multiplying and divide it by 2. Okay, so it becomes the formula. So we put this formula in the equation and it become 1 minus cos of omega t and d omega t. Okay, so next we will discuss how these limits can be put in this equation. So here we integrate this d omega t and cos of omega t, and we achieve a limit 2 pi minus 0, and here sine 2 pi minus sine of 0. So this is the value, this is the value for the signal. Okay, so now we realize this equation, and we find out that the RMS value for a sinusoidal signal becomes Im upon under root 2. Okay, so now what is form factor? Form factor is the ratio of RMS value to the average value. We have to put the values for RMS and average. Okay, so RMS, as we have derived the expression, we find out that the RMS value is Im divided by under root 2, and the average value is 2 Im divided by pi. So we realize this equation, and we achieve the final output as pi divided by 2 under root 2. Okay, so next we will find out the peak factor. So peak factor is Im divided by IRMS. So we put the value for IRMS is Im divided by under root 2. Okay, so we solve this equation by eliminating the Im, and we achieve the value for peak factor is 1.4142. Okay, so now we will move toward the RL series circuit. For RL series circuit, we have to connect R and L in series, and we have to give the voltages across R as VR, voltage across L as VL, and this is the input signal B is equal to Bn sine of omega t. First of all, you have to know that how the response for the R and L is achieved, and how to draw the phasor diagram. For if we consider the resistor, then we consider that the voltage and current are in the same phase. So that's why we take voltage and current in the same phase. So these are represented in x-axis. Now if we consider the inductor, then the voltage and current lead or lag at particular some angle. So in case of inductor, let's take a look right here. So we take positive y-axis as a voltage and negative y-axis as a current. and this is the resultant for L. So what do you mean by this? So voltage and current are separated with the phase angle of 90 degree. Here in case of inductor, voltage lead to the current by 90 degree, or we can say current lags by the voltage at the angle of 90 degree. Okay, so how to draw the phasor diagram? As we can see that resistor has both voltage and current in the same phase, no phase difference is present, so that's why we represent this resistor value in a x-axis. Okay, so we have represented this as VR. Now if we use inductor, then the voltage leads current with the angle of 90 degree, so it is represented as we can see right here in the upward direction. So we have represented this voltage VL in the y-axis. Okay, now we have to draw the resultant vector for these two vectors. So while drawing the resultant, it is shown like here V is equal to I into Z. Okay, now using this become a right angle triangle, and with the help of Pythagoras theorem you can find out the values for voltages and currents. Okay, now so according to Pythagoras theorem, hypotenuse square is equal to perpendicular ka square plus base ka square. So we will put the values across each branches. So in resultant it is represented as hypotenuse, so it is V. Okay, so we put the value V right here, and in perpendicular we use the voltage VL, and in base we use the voltage VR. So VR square plus VL square. So while this is showing as a square, so it moved toward the right hand side and become under root. Okay, so next we have to calculate the voltages for this equation. So we can say that this R square plus XL square is our impedance. So we can represent voltage V is equal to I into Z. Okay, so I is represented as V upon Z. Now we have to calculate the phase angle. So phase angle can be calculated with the help of tan of phi, and tan of phi is represented as perpendicular upon base. So what is the value across perpendicular? This is our diagram. This is our diagram. So how we can represent the value? Here is VL, here is VR. So in perpendicular, this is our perpendicular and this is our base. Okay, so that's why we put the value VL, and in the denominator we use the value VR, and we put these values across VL and VR. So across VL we have the voltages I into XL. So how you can calculate? This is inductor, and this is some current is flowing through in this conductor, and the conductor has some conductance as XL. Okay, this inductor has a inductance as XL. Okay, so this resistor has voltage, this resistor has some current value I, so that's why the voltage right here, voltage drop is right here, V is equal to I into R. Okay, I into R. So this is the voltage. Okay, and in this case the voltage is V is equal to I into XL. Okay, any doubt? After putting these values, we have to eliminate those values which are common, and we have to calculate the angle phi. So phi is a tan inverse XL upon R. Okay, now power factor. So power factor can be calculated with the help of cos of phi. So cos of phi is B upon H. So how you can represent this cos of phi? As we can see in this diagram, as in this diagram, this is P, this is P, and this is B. Okay, and we have drawn a right angle triangle like this, so this become P. So now we put the value across this. We have a value of BL, and across this we have a value BR. So BR upon BR upon H. So cos of theta is B upon H. So that's why we have used base as BR and H is VIZ. So we cancel out the common terms and we find out the value for power factor is R upon Z. Okay. Now we will move further. Voltage current relation for the resistor. Using the Ohm's law, we can find out the voltages across this resistor. So this is the V is equal to IR is the simple formula, and current can be calculated using I is equal to V upon R. For this inductance, we can find out the magnetic field using mu I of t divided by L, where mu is the magnetic permeability, ID is the current flowing through the wire, B is the magnetic field, L is the length of the wire. Okay. Now the derivation for this RC circuit is represented in this diagram. So in RC circuit, R and C are connected in series with the supply voltage, and as we have seen earlier that the resistor has no phase difference, that's why it is represented in series, in x-axis. Okay, whereas in case of capacitor, the voltage and current, the phasor angle between voltage and current is 90 degree. Okay, so 90 degree phase difference is present between the voltage and current. Okay, so in case of inductor, the voltage leads, whereas in case of capacitor, voltage lags. So we can represent voltage across this capacitor as VC, and we can represent the current in case of capacitor is IC. Okay, so how to draw the phasor diagram? As we can see right here, resistor has no phase change, that's why it is represented in the x-axis, whereas this voltage lags by 90 degree to the current, so that's why we have represented this VC in the downward direction. Now we have to draw the resultant for VC and VR, and we have drawn the resultant V, so it is I into Z. Okay, so this become a complete right angle triangle, this position to this position to this position. Using the Pythagoras theorem, we can calculate the values for voltages and currents. So according to Pythagoras theorem, S square is equal to P square plus B square, where B square is we have to put the values across these components. Okay, so H becomes V, P become VR, VC, and B become VR. Okay, so we have to put all the values across these resistors and capacitor. So the voltage value is equal to IR square plus IXC square. So we have to take the common value out. So let's take a look. So V is equal to I under root of R square plus XC square. So now we can say that this R square plus XC square is called as a impedance Z. Okay, so we have to put the value for impedance. So V is equal to I into Z and I is equal to V upon Z. Now we have to calculate the phase angle. So what is the phase angle? As we can see in this right angle triangle, there is some angle like phi is the angle. So this is called a phase angle. So its phase angle can be represented by tan of phi. So tan of phi is equal to P upon B. So this is our perpendicular and this is our base. So we have to give the input with the notations. Okay, so base is this BR. Okay, clear? So now phase angle is BC upon BR, so we have to put the value for BC, which is I into XC, and voltage across R is I into R. So we cut all the common values and we find out the value for phase angle is XC upon R. Okay, if we take the 10 in the right hand side, we can see that phi becomes 10 inverse of XC upon R. Now move ahead for power factor. So power factor can be calculated using cos of phi, where cos of phi is equal to B upon H. So B is the magnetic field intensity. Okay, so B upon H. So H is represented as a resultant voltage. So we have to put this value VR divided by B, and what is the value across voltage across the resistor? It is B is equal to IR. So we have to multiply the value from current with the help of this current I into R, and total voltage B is equal to I upon Z, and we cancel out the common terms and we have calculated the power factor as R upon Z in this case. Now next is our RLC series circuit. As we can see, there are three components R, L and C. All these are connected in series with the supply voltage Bm sin of omega t. Now we have seen that resistor has no phase difference. So resistor has no phase difference, that's why we have represented this resistor and the phasor diagram in the same direction. In case of inductor, the phase difference is 90 degrees. So this in case of inductor, voltage leads by 90 degree and current lags by 90 degree. Okay, now we have to draw the phasor diagram for this RLC circuit. In the basement we have to draw the response for this resistor. So according this resistor has both voltage and current in the same phase, so that's why we have represented this value in the base, whereas this inductor has a response in the upward direction because voltage leads with the angle of 90 degree and current lags with the angle of 90 degree. That's why we have represented this voltage BL in upward direction, and we have taken the overall response for this voltage as BL minus BC. So BL minus BC, we have to put the values for BL. BL is I into XL and BC is I into XC. Okay, and we have to take the common value out and it becomes I into XL minus XC. Okay, so now we have to solve this equation using the Pythagoras theorem. So according to Pythagoras theorem, h square is equal to p square plus b square, where we have to put these values right in this equation, and across resistor the voltage value is IR. Across this inductor these values are like this, and we have to take the common factor out, and this become a impedance Z. Okay, now V is equal to, we can say that voltage is equal to I upon Z and current is equal to V upon Z. Okay, now we have to calculate the phase angle. So phase angle can be calculated with the help of tan of phi. So tan is represented as P upon B. So as we can see in this diagram, like P is represented in this way. This is our perpendicular, this is our base, and this is angle phi. Okay, so P is VL minus VC and B is VR. Okay, so we have to put the value for this voltage in across inductor. So it is I into XL minus I into XC. Okay, so we have to put these values right here, and we take common value out and we cancel out the common terms, and we achieve the value 10 of phi is equal to xl minus xc upon r. If we take this 10 into the right hand direction, then we get 10 inverse of xl minus xc upon r. So this is the phase angle for RLC series circuit. Now we have to calculate the power factor. So power factor can be calculated with the help of cos of phi. So cos of phi is equal to B upon H. So as we can see in this phasor diagram, this is P, this is B, and this is H. So P is represented by PL minus VC, whereas B is represented as VR, and H is represented as we have derived the equation. Okay, now we have to put this value for base VR, and we have to put the value for H. So H is equal to V. Okay, so we have to put these values Iz into I into R. So those constant terms are cancelled out, and we achieve the value for cos of phi is equal to R upon Z. So this is all about RL, RC, RLC, and all the basic terms of this AC circuit components.